Welcome to the Health Coach Collaborative podcast. We are so excited today to have our very special guest, Jen Facey from the Metabolic Balance program. She's going to tell us a little bit about the program, and then we'll look at how it can be incorporated into a career as a natural nutrition coach. Before you get started, Jen, I just want to mention to everybody that our natural nutrition coach program through the Health Coach Collaborative, it trains people, prepares people to take the Metabolic Balance coach program. And you guys accept our graduates right out the gate. So thank you so much for being here today and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Heather. Thank you so much for having me. It's definitely excited to be participating today and really looking forward to being supportive for your students and the next step for them. I know what it's like to come fresh out of nutrition school and you're super excited and you're ready to go. And then you're kind of left with the like, well, what now? Right. And so metabolic balance has really been life changing for me in that regard. So a little bit of a background on myself. I've been a registered nutritionist for well over 10 years and I've done it all. I've done, working with clients in all different capacities, tracking macros and doing custom nutrition plans or sensitivity testing, or I also am a trainer, worked in the gyms. I did all of that. And then I started working specifically with metabolic balance in 2020 when there was a real need based on what was going on in the world with people were really struggling. So I started working with metabolic balance. So to give a little bit of a background, metabolic balance has been around for over 25 years now. The head office is based in Germany, but metabolic balance is in 36 countries, has helped millions of people. Dr. Wolf, fun fact, originally designed the program, and he originally designed the program to support healing his patients in his practice. It was really designed around supporting those with metabolic syndrome. So people who were struggling with maybe diabetes, obesity, hypertension, high cholesterol, an array of issues. And so his program is very supportive of holistically teaching people how to fuel their body using whole food. So it's anti-inflammatory, it stabilizes blood sugars, it supports balancing hormones by really focusing on the master hormone being insulin. And then through all of these things being accomplished, people were noticeably losing weight significantly, achieving an optimal body weight. And so you fast forward to today, metabolic balance is very well known as a very well regarded weight loss program. It wasn't originally designed for that specifically exactly. It was a healing program. So the best part about it is that in conjunction with being supportive for weight loss, it's really supportive of your overall health. So people feel so much better, right? They have, again, having stable blood sugars, being anti-inflammatory, all of a sudden they have way more energy, they have no more brain fog, they're sleeping better, everything just kind of comes into play. Joint pain, all of these things, people getting off blood pressure medications and all sorts of things that have been a really positive. So I've been fortunate enough since 2020 to work. I've worked with hundreds of clients now. And so it really changed my practice to the point that now it's the only single program that I offer. So to dive just a little bit deeper into the program details, basically what we do, working you would as a nutritionist or registered through the natural nutrition program as a licensed coach, you could become a metabolic balance coach. And then what we do is really simple. We actually give you the requisition form for you to give to your clients. So we do a really in-depth panel of their blood work. That's really important because each nutrition plan is tailored to the individual person. And we need to see what's going on with their chemistry, their body. Every body is different. What are their imbalances, deficiencies, their inflammatory marker, their fasting glucose, all of that. We do a really in-depth panel. So we take all of the results from their blood work, and then we also do a health history, right? So any medications, any diagnosis conditions, food preferences, tolerances, things like that. So we take all of the information from their medical history, that I do an intake form, all of the results from their blood work, and we create a really in-depth profile that we send to head office in Germany. The medical team in Germany does the nutrition plan. It's all done for you, which is really nice. No nutrition plans are ever the same. They are very specific and tailored to the individual client. Then the nutrition plan is sent back to you as the coach, and then it's your responsibility to simply coach your clients through their tailored nutrition plan. And you can have an additional protocol. Like I personally coach on the 4 pillars of health, which is nutrition, exercise, sleep, and stress management. So the nutrition plan is the anchor. So I get the nutrition plan from head office, and that's the anchor. But then I piece in a protocol for each individual client based on where they're currently at with those other three pillars. And then I roll it all together and I do a whole 6-month package with my clients. So the beautiful part is that really putting together that initial doing the intake form, sending them for their lab and getting the plan can be done very quickly. So it's really nice. It's not, I know what it's like to spend so much time like hashing out, writing out nutrition plans and sourcing recipes and things like that, where this one is really done for you. So you have a proven, tailored individual custom plan that's done for you, and then you just coach your clients through it. So it's yeah, it's been extremely effective. I started working only with friends and family because it was during COVID initially in 2020. So I was just like, maybe I can just help some friends and family out while I was waiting to go back to work. I was the GM of the gym. I had a really busy corporate management position. And then, long story short, it didn't take long for me to realize that I had to do this because it was so effective. So, yeah, so now it's the only thing I do. It's the only program that I offer because it's so effective. So, yeah, it's been really great.
That is so great. And, it's interesting that like being in this field for more than 2 decades now, I see a lot of customization. And that's always my approach too, is just start with every person as an individual and look at their symptomatology, look at their specific menus, the 4 pillars, of course, and come up with a personalized plan for that person. And then there are all the cookie cutter plans that might work for part of the population, but it's a nice income generator for the person who created it, because it's just like, here's my program, buy it or don't buy it. But to be able to merge something that's customizable but also done for you is amazing. And that's a big, not only a time saver, but it saves headaches. It takes some of the thinking out of the process. But you still have to use obviously all your skills and all of your knowledge to be able to follow through with your client. So can you tell us a little bit more about how a graduate, say from the natural nutrition coach program, can work with metabolic balance, or how they can incorporate it into their program? Now, I should mention our program can be done in as little as 6 months, which is exciting because you still get all of the knowledge and all of the skills that you would get from another natural nutrition program. But if you can wrap ours up in 6 months, then you can go right into the metabolic balance program, right?
Absolutely. And so what's really great is from there you can roll right into our program. Our program is for people who have already, already either finished or still just finishing up school. And so in which case our program is actually quite quick because it's a bit more of a recapture and a refresher on the knowledge, but it's not going through all of the things that you've already just learned. So our program technically would give you 3 months, and I'll go through how it's included. We give you 3 months. But I mean, I finished the program in 2 weeks, right? You can become a certified metabolic balance coach very quickly. So there's three, yeah. So basically there's 3 components to the program. There's the practical part, there's the theoretical part, and then there's the business component. And so again, a lot of the information is a bit of a refresher from school, but it's just really understanding the foundation of the program, where it originated from, why it's so effective, the science behind. We have daily rules that we put in place for our clients and we coach them in phases. So just really understanding that. Then, of course, understanding the very simple part is just, how do I log into the database, enter in a meal plan, generate the meal plan, download it from head office. So just being able to hands-on do that. Every student becomes their own student first. You get your own plan included with your course so that, of course, you can, abide by it and follow your own plan first. And then there's the business part of the course, which is what teaches people. It takes everything that you've learned, and then it actually teaches you how to implement it and how to grow. So the business component has every single thing you would need to start your business. Every guide, every template, every form, all of those are editable so that you can go in and you can put your own company logo, your own name, all of that really good stuff. There's a part in the business course on social media. So just now, with the way of the world, how to capitalize and really how to kind of put yourself out there and use social media as a tool. there's a part of the business course that teaches you how to make an introductory video. So there's all sorts of really beneficial things. And so that can all be done fairly quickly. And then so you can become certified, even if you're pacing yourself really slowly within a couple of months for sure, then you can get started on your own plan. So you can be your own first client. And then from there, you're feeling in a really confident place where you know exactly how the program works, you know how effective it is, and then you can really start working with clients after that.
That's that's right, because with the blood work, that's actually included with the cost of your course, right? So you can try it on yourself and see how successful you can be with it, and then you'll be even more excited to share it with clients as you go forward. Jen, you mentioned a few things. You talked about beyond nutrition, stress management and sleep and other lifestyle factors. And that really plays very well into what we have in our program as well. We have our 4 pillars, which is exercise, stress management, sleep, and nutrition, and with a focus on digestive health. So everything blends really well together. The other thing I wanted to mention, because as we're going through our program, we often talk about scope of practice. And of course, we're not taking the blood work. We're not looking at the results and diagnosing. That's somebody else is doing that for you,
Yeah.
and then it comes back. So we absolutely are staying within scope of practice. No problem there. And can you tell me, how is the blood work done now? You were mentioning about a requisition. So somebody, you'd give it to their client and the client just has the blood work done and then the results go.
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So we do have our doctor on staff, and our doctor is the one who signs the requisition form. So of course, it is not going beyond our scope of practice. The doctor will also analyze the results. If there ever is any type of just things that we feel do require additional follow-up, then our doctor will draft a medical advisory letter that gets sent to the family physician of that client. So all of that is done by the doctor. That's overseen, where you as the nutritionist, you don't really have to partake in that. So the doctor will sign the requisition form that you will give to your client. We do set you up with your own portal with well, depending on where you are in Canada, but typically it's going to be a Life Labs. And so you do have access to retrieve the blood work so that you can enter the values into the database. But again, it is the responsibility of our doctor to oversee that. So you get the form, send it to your client, they go get their blood work done. It goes to your practitioner portal the very next morning. So you get your results in the morning. And then once you pull the results, again, you take all of the information that you've done on the client's intake form, and then you create the profile. Once you send it to head office, you can get your nutrition plan generated within a day or so. The turnaround time is really quick. So I always tell clients from the time they get their blood work done, I will have their plan within 3 business days. So for when people approach you, they're very excited to get started. They don't want to have to wait months by the time this happens or that happens. So it's a really efficient system, but that's a really good point, and that is how those steps work.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. So, and you had mentioned before as well about working with clients you set up your clients for about 6 months. How does that work?
Yeah. So again, we coach the program in different phases. So there's 4 phases in total. Just to kind of break it down, we do a the phase 1 is a 2-day cleanse. So it's a very, very gentle 2-day cleanse. We take a little magnesium citrate, draw water to the colon for some bowel movements throughout the day, you're still eating 3 meals, but it's like lighter vegetable soup. It's a very, very mild, gentle cleanse, very manageable for 2 days. Then you move into phase 2, where phase 2, you adhere to your plan based on what's sent to you from head office, following only those food choices. And there's a very good array of food choices: proteins, vegetable, fruit, starches. It has all your macros. And you do that for 2 weeks. So in total, I call that the 16-day reset period, metabolic reset period. Then we move into phase 3, and phase 3 becomes a lot more relaxed, where we start to bring in more food choices, cooking oils, condiments, a little bit of balance, where we have treat meals, just a little bit more real life. And you will stay in phase 3 until you've accomplished your desired goal. Keep in mind, a desired goal does not necessarily mean a body composition goal. A desired goal is where they're feeling optimal, right? They feel like hormones are in a better balance, energy, sleep, all of those good positive health markers, and they're at a pretty good place of balance for body composition. this is a good place for them. Then we moved them to phase 4, which is the maintenance phase, which is still a really important phase where we want to make sure that they have the fundamentals, the tools, everything they need to adequately sustain this lifestyle. And so I'll go through those phases over the course of about 6 months. So I work a little bit more closely in the beginning. We have our first meeting where we review their plan, and then I review phase 1 and 2. And the second meeting, I review phase 3. In between, I have a couple of check-in meetings where we'll just meet, how are you doing with your pillars of health, so on and so forth, until we meet to review phase 4. Personally, in between those Zoom meetings, which will be maybe 4 or 5, I will also do weekly accountability check-ins. Just once a week, they send me a text, and I use what's called a RENFO scale. So a RENFO scale just shows any change in body composition, not just their body weight, but visceral fat, subcutaneous fat, muscle mass, hydration, all of those good things. So I do what I call check-in Fridays. Every Fridays, my clients just send over that screenshot, and then we just have a quick discussion based on how their week's been, based on their results. And so clients get those weekly accountability check-ins. I do weekly. Some coaches do it bi-weekly, or whatever works. You have some freedom and flexibility how you want to work with your clients. I will say some coaches even do programs that are maybe 4 months or 5 months. Again, I do the 6 months. I have a meeting for every phase. And then in between those meetings, I do weekly accountability check-ins. And that seems to work extremely well for my clients.
So how many hours would you guesstimate that you would spend over that course of 6 months with one client?
Yeah, so I would say, the first couple of meetings, the first meeting is going to be, you're going to do your initial consultation meeting, and that's where you're drawing all of the information. And then the meeting to review their plan. Both of those are about 1 hour, I would say. So that's 2 hours. The other 3 meetings where I meet to review phase 3, meet to review phase 4, and then I do like a midpoint check-in meeting, those are about 30 minutes. So that's about 2.5 hours there. And then in between, you're doing your weekly accountability check-ins, which really for most, they're 5 minutes, right? It's just a 5-minute, they send over a photo, a little bit about how the week's going. You do kind of a quick little message follow-up. Most people text them to me, but a lot of people, just email them as well. And so when you kind of take those 5 to 10 minutes weekly and you add it up, I would say realistically, you're probably at about 5 hours, maybe 5 to 6 hours. Tops working with each client. Yeah.
Wow. And so I know we've talked before about generating income and revenue from the program. Are you able to give us some ideas? So for that 5 hours, how much revenue can you generate?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I can comfortably say that when I first started doing this, it really wasn't so much initially about generating an income, because when I started, it was when my work was closed down. So I was just, I'm just going to do this on the side until I go back to work. And then I started seeing absolutely outstanding results. But then I started realizing that I'm in a position where I can take what I absolutely wholeheartedly, genuinely love doing, but actually generate an income that was surpassing my corporate world that I was in before. So to put it into perspective, the average price that somebody would charge for a program is $12.99. So that's pretty average. The minimum right now, just to make sure that there's never like kind of a decrease in the value of how amazing the program is, we do have a minimum charge of $9.99.
And that's $999.
Yes, $999. Yes, thank you. $999. I would say it's not too many coaches. Maybe when you're first starting out, if you feel comfortable with that, but I would say a pretty solid average is about $1,299. So $1,299 is for the whole 6 months. So for my clients, that includes their RENFO scale that I send them. The scale you can ship through Amazon for about $30. It's a very useful tool for a really low price point. That includes the requisition form for their blood work. That includes the plan from the doctors in Germany. And then that includes those kind of 5 to 6 hours of coaching over the 6 months. So $1,299 is what we charge. My cost, so head office for the blood work and the plan, is $400. So then that leaves you with $899 minus the scale. So you can kind of say you're, generating per client, I'd say around just 850, or like whatever, at least 850, a little bit more because of the scale is only about $30. So let's call it 850 to 8, whatever, 70 or whatever it is in there per client. And so I very, very comfortably onboard between 10 and 20 clients a month, really easily. Without, I work less hours than I ever did before. So, 10 to 20 clients a month, that's kind of 2 to 5 a week. Like it's really, really reasonable to be able to onboard that amount of clients. And then, when you kind of put it together as to what the income works out to be per client, and then you can kind of piece it together what it is per month. So it's been a really fortunate place where as nutritionists, we do what we do because we love it, right? Because we genuinely love it. But I also loved that I could take my kids to Disney this year, right? Because I know that there was years that it's like that just wasn't an option, right? It's like I love what I do and I'm helping people, but our cost of living is rising and things are really expensive. And you also want to be able to have a lifestyle that you deserve to have. So this way it's a win-win. You get to have both. You get to be able to genuinely wholeheartedly help people, but you can also have a lucrative, substantial living that you deserve to have as well, so that you can also enjoy your life too. So yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to say as well, I think it lends itself to flexibility. So for people with families, you mentioned you have a family. If you have a family, you need those flexible hours. You can build your clientele, you can build your practice any way you want to.
I will say I work 100% virtually. I've always been so used to having the brick and mortar, having the physical location where people would come see me. Again, the world is changing. People they don't necessarily want to have to take the time of their day to physically go to these appointments, but B, I have clients literally all over the world. I have clients who have outstanding results and then they message me, hey, my sister would love to work with you, but she lives in wherever she lives. And it's like, absolutely no problem. So I have clients all across Canada, the US, Europe, Australia, even like clients all over because you can work virtually. And so it's a huge time saver, not only for your clients, but for you as well. I work solely from home. And so I can schedule my day. So I'm with the kids all morning, get them out the door, do my appointments. I have a scheduled break when they get home. So I spend a little bit of time. I do a couple evening appointments because that can be helpful for some people, and have dinner. And you can just map it out, whatever works for you. Again, I do this. This is all I do now, but for a lot of people, it's what they do part-time, right? And so maybe they're onboarding 5 or 6 clients a month, but that extra almost 5 or 6K per month as well really helps in conjunction with whatever else they might be doing, until eventually I find a lot of coaches just steer towards just offering this program.
And I'm going to just mention something, and I'd love Lisa's thoughts on it as well. A couple of the things that I really love about Metabolic Balance, the fact is that they use whole foods and natural foods. Like it's not, oh, buy this package, we're going to ship you this frozen stuff, right? And also you're teaching your clients how to probably develop these healthy habits, right? And also, I love the fact that you have a maintenance phase, and it's such an emphasis on the maintenance phase, because we see so many people are able to lose weight at the beginning in a lot of these different programs. The challenge becomes, how do they maintain it? So it's really nice to see all of those things in your program. What do you think about Lisa?
Yeah, I was when you were talking about checking in with your clients for 6 months every week, I thought, my gosh, like the drop off in other types of practices is really high when your clients are expected to check in for that long. But obviously yours are continuing for that 6-month period, and they're seeing the difference. And I think it really takes that period of time to adjust your metabolism. If you want to see long-term results, you can get quick results, but they're not going to stick unless you have that period of time to really reinforce them, and so that the change that you're making become part of your lifestyle. And to have a person that you can be accountable to for that long a period is worth gold. And I think this is why people are willing to go forward with this program. When you said $999 to $1,299, like that does sound, there's a bit of sticker shock there, but any clients of mine that have done Metabolic Balance have said it was worth every single last penny, and it was completely completely life-changing for them. So Jen, where are your clients coming from? Is it all word of mouth, or is there like a method that you use to get clients?
Yeah. So just touching on that point that you just said, I will say that consistent feedback from clients is how important that accountability is, right? Just knowing that they are accountable to someone. I'm very clear in the beginning when I have my initial phone consultation that it's not a short term, it's not a quick fix. This isn't like a 30-day boot camp. Like, minimum for me is that I want to work with you is 6 months, because I truly want to see you through to sustainable change, so that you're in a position where you will never, ever require another program, another plan, anything. And so that's what's really rewarding, is when I do that 6 month review with my clients, that final review, they say, even if they go on vacation and they veer off balance a bit or whatever it looks like, they're like, I am fully equipped with the tools. I've improved my metabolic markers. My body is happy. Like, even if I do veer a little bit off balance, I know what to do. I'm never in a position where I feel maybe I should try something else. Right. And so putting in the time and for those clients. And yes, for some clients, they spend more than that on a gym membership that they don't use. Like, it really becomes of such substantial value to them. So fortunately, I actually have done all 100% of my business has been through word of mouth and social media. So I've actually never spent, not that you couldn't, but I've never been in a position where I had to spend money on marketing or advertising or anything. I have hundreds of clients now, and I can truly say that all of them somehow stem back to my first probably 10 to 20. Really, it's just once one person does it, they refer the next, they refer the next. I work with a lot of groups of women. I work with groups of women who all work together in different, locations. And so the referrals really spin. I do find social media to be helpful for me. So I do make a point to try and post, a couple of stories a day, some success stories, some client reviews that I get from my clients and things like that. And I stay on top of that because I know people are watching, right? And so I call that the value jar, that they continuously see you consistently posting feedback about, wow, like this keeps working over and over and over and over and over again for all of her clients. And so I find that is really helpful. So for me, it's been social media and word of mouth. But there's so many avenues. We're really getting back into doing trade shows again. And like, there's, local businesses, like there's lots of ways you can promote yourself to get started. But truly, once you get the ball rolling and you get those first, again, 10 or so clients, then it rolls from there.
I had actually a question while you were talking. I was thinking, application wise, I know we're talking more for weight loss, but because we are looking at metabolism, would this also be supportive for women who are going through menopause and having a really hard time losing the weight, or people with PCOS? Some of those. So are those applications or issues that you can work with as well?
So interestingly, a lot of the coaches, I mean, again, I personally coach a bit, kind of well-rounded. I have my 4 pillars of health, but a lot of the coaches will choose a niche. And so, for example, I just did like an Instagram live with one of our coaches, and she just works with menopausal women, menopausal women, age 40 to 60. That's her niche, but she works with them only using the metabolic balance program. I shouldn't say only, she uses the metabolic balance program in conjunction, with any other protocol, like we all can kind of put together to work with our clients, but it's immensely beneficial for women through menopause. I actually have PCOS myself. And when you have PCOS, most women tend to be insulin resistant. And so that becomes an extremely important hormone to understand how to manage, understand how to stabilize your blood sugars, and how to have that insulin response on a consistent basis. So I have a ton of success stories with my PCOS women. They almost get emotional because they've tried it all. They're like, I've literally tried everything, nothing works. I have PCOS. And all of a sudden their body is just thriving. Their body is responding. They're finally able to, achieve an optimal body weight that's a comfortable place for them. And so extremely well for PCOS, extremely well for menopause. And I will say on that note, a lot of women come to me without weight loss goals. They are in a very comfortable, optimal body composition, but it doesn't mean that they don't feel awful. They're still uncomfortable, they're sluggish, they're tired, they have bloating, digestive issues, all of these things. And when we correct it through whole food, through an adequate nutrition plan based on them, they feel amazing too. So there's kind of no end to how many people that you can support. I do tend to work a lot with women, but I have a ton of male clients. And I mean, we both know that men just, they respond like that. All of a sudden, wow.
Not fair.
I know, I know. I mean, their hormone cycle is so much different than ours, and they're fortunate in that regards. But it works extremely well for men, so as well.
Wow. So Jen, as far as earning a living as a metabolic coach, you've already given us an idea of what you're charging, where you charge clients, and that you were able to leave your full-time corporate job to do this full time. Is that realistic for most people who take the Metabolic Balance program?
It absolutely can be, right? I mean, I was in a position where I was waiting to go back to work. And I mean, again, I was the GM of a gym. So if we all remember how long gyms were closed for, it was a while. And all of the while I'm waiting to go back to work, I just kept coaching more and more clients, more and more clients. And I really realized that this was a more lucrative opportunity. I was genuinely making an impact in a different way. Not that I didn't love my position, because I really did, but this was more impactful work. And I can actually work less hours. I really was able to have a much better work-life balance. I was running 24-hour clubs. That was running me rampant. So the work-life balance. So it absolutely can be. And for a lot of the coaches, it is. A lot of the coaches do the same thing as I did, is they steer in that direction where it's like, I just want to make a business out of just coaching clients, having my practice virtually, whatever it looks like. And for some, it's in conjunction with what they do. For some, it's like, I still really love this other thing that I do over here. And so I'm going to do this part-time, and I'm going to do this part-time, or whatever it might look like. But as far as like a lucrative opportunity, it's very much present. It's very much there for sure.
Awesome. Okay. So you finished the program within 2 weeks,
Yeah.
Keener. And what is a more realistic time frame? I think you said somewhere around 3 months.
I mean, we try we try to have the program fully finished within 3 months. So we kind of, from the time you get started, by the time you sign up, we just say, we want to kind of give you about 3 months to finish it. We want to, keep the momentum rolling of getting it done. I would say most people finish it in half the time for sure. Like it's like 5 to 6, like 4 to 6 weeks. And that's just really pacing yourself along. It really wasn't, even when I became certified, it wasn't like I was drowning myself in hours either to even get it done in a couple of weeks. So it's pretty reasonable, and especially because you're already knowledgeable, so it's a lot of it you can go through, and really, yes, the science behind that makes sense to me because I learned this in nutrition school, right? And so you can kind of go through it fairly seamlessly, and then you become certified. And then we strongly encourage you to be your own first client, and then start taking clients after that.
Okay. So in order to enroll in the Metabolic Balance program, you either have to be close to graduating from a nutrition program, or you have to have that education already, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So you can sign up while you're still in school. We have people who do sign up so that they're done the metabolic balance course by the time they finish their nutrition school. So you can do by either. You're either in school or you are finished school. Exactly.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions, Heather?
No, I actually, you answered even a lot more than we had on our original question list. So it was awesome.
Good. I'm so glad. Yes. And if anybody ever wants to contact me directly, first off, you can go onto my Instagram. So my Instagram is Jen the RHN. So it's Jen, JEN .RHN. So you can kind of follow along. If you go there, you'll see a ton of success stories. I have highlights with client reviews and wins of the week, all sorts of things, really cool things that you can see there. And then if anyone has any questions for me specifically, you can also send me an email, which is contact@jentherhn.com. So yeah, I'd love to hear from your students and answer any questions and get them really excited about starting their practice and working as a metabolic balance coach, because it changes everyone's lives, it changes your clients, and then it changes yours as well.
Okay. And students of the Health Coach Collaborative Natural Nutrition Coach program receive a discount on the Metabolic Balance program. So check out their website and reach out to Jen if you have any questions. Thank you so much, Jen, for being with us here today. We learned a lot, and I'm so inspired, and good luck to you. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for having me.